A pleasant morning to each and everyone who are listening right now, and also to our teacher, Mr. John Lester Cortez. For today's lesson is I'm gonna be discussing or illustrating to you the 21st century literary techniques and literary themes. However, my topic only covers on literary techniques because the other one will be discussed to you by my partner Joshua Valiente. So, without further ado, let's carry on with a discussion on 21st century literary techniques. What do you let us define first what is literary techniques. So as you can see in the presentation, it refers to any specific deliberate constructions or choices of language which an author uses to convey meaning in a particular way. So literary techniques are not necessarily present in every text. So literary techniques, these are used by the literary writers. These are used to put life in every novel or any book they want to publish. So this makes the words that are used in the books to be more amusing, or it can really caught the attention of the readers or the viewers. So we have here examples that will be discussed later on. So we have here, as you can see, alliteration, anaphora, assonance, hyperbole, irony, metaphor, simile, metonymy, onomatopoeia, paradox, personification, antithesis, euphemism, and oxymoron. So these following literary techniques I will be discussing to you. These techniques are already been discussed when we are in junior high school. So since junior high school up until now is we have already prior knowledge on this. We have idea on what are these things in particular. This will be a sort of review for those students who are watching right now. So without further ado, let's carry on with the discussion. Okay, so first is alliteration. So alliteration So alliteration, it involves using words with the same sounds. So it is a literary device that reflects repetition in two or more nearby words of initial consonant sounds. So alliteration does not refer to repetition of consonant letters. However, alliteration does not refer to repetition of consonant letters that begin in words, but rather it is the repetition of consonant sounds in words. At the words, if the words begin with different consonant letters, they produce the same consonant sound. So alliteration, this does not refer to the repetition of consonant letters that begin words, but rather the repetition of the consonant sound. So we are focusing on the consonant sound and not the consonant letters that begin in words. So for example, I'll give you some examples. So just like quick question. So as you can see, quick question has the two words starts with starts with consonant. They both start with consonant consonant letter, which is letter Q, like quick question. However, it is alliteration because of its consonant sound, not the letter. Because quick and then question, because when you try to examine the sound, for example, quick like qui, and then question like qui, question. So they have the same sound. So both begins with the same sound. So that is what you call alliteration. So another example is Coca-Cola. So Coca. So Coca. So co, and then cola, Coca-Cola. So just that is a that two examples I have mentioned are a great example of alliteration. So next literary techniques that I will be discussing to you is anaphora. So what do you mean by anaphora? As you can see in the presentation, it is a repetition of word or phrase at the beginning of the sentence. Take note, a repetition of word or phrase at the beginning of sentence. It is a device that rhetorical device that also features repetition of word. Anaphora works as a literary technique or device that allows writers to convey and emphasize or reinforce meaning. So this word repetition at the beginning of each phrase in a group of sentences or clauses is a stylized technique. So this is an example of stylized technique that can be very effective in speeches, lyrics, poetry, and prose. So I have examples here. So first, go big or go home. So that is an example of a anaphora. So there's a word or phrase that begins in a successive sentences. So first, go big or go home. So as you can see, go big. So the first word, which is go, is also being repeated in go home. So go big or go home. Another example is get busy living or get busy dying. So that two examples I have mentioned is what anaphora is all about. So that is how writers use anaphora in novels or books. So if you encountered some of these words, so you can easily remember that this type of words or phrase that are used in a book is an example of a literary technique, which is anaphora. So let's proceed to number 3, which is the assonance. Okay, so what do you mean by assonance? So it is using vowel sounds to create effect. Take note, it is using vowel sounds to create effect. So it is a literary device in which repetition of similar vowel sounds takes in place in two or more words in proximity to each other within a line of poetry or prose. So it is most often refers to the repetition of internal vowel sounds. Take note, internal vowel sounds. Repetition of internal vowel sounds in words that do not end the same. So for example, I have example here. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So if you are a gamer, so probably you will be quite familiar with this phrase. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. As you can see, when you examine what I have mentioned is winner, winner. So chicken dinner. So as you can see, there's letter I. So vowel sound, which is win, so in like I. So and also in chicken, like chi, like there's also a vowel letter which is I. So and also in dinner, even though the words are not the same, however, in their there is a repetition of internal vowel sounds. So winner, winner, chicken dinner, and also we have an example of lean, mean, fighting machine. So that is what assonance is all about. Next is hyperbole. So hyperbole o kung sa Tagalog ay pagmamalabis, di ba? So what do you mean by hyperbole? So it is an exaggerated expressions. Yeah. You already know it because it is already been discussed since high school. So what do you mean by hyperbole? Hyperbole. So it is a figure of speech and a literary device that creates heightened effect through deliberate exaggeration. So hyperbole is often boldly overstated or exaggerated claim or statement that adds emphasis without the intention of being literally true. In rhetoric and literature, hyperbole is often used for serious, comic, and ironic effect. Why? Because hyperbole entices the attention of the readers, to be exact. because it makes them curious about why is that word or phrase being used in that particular sentence in a novel or book, and also basically in literature. So I have examples here. First, I'm dying of thirst. No, not that one. Yeah. The suitcase weighs a ton. So, although probably maybe there is the suitcase that can weigh a ton, however, it is quite exaggerated. So that is how hyperbole works. So you exaggerate things. So this suitcase weighs a ton. Although the suitcase doesn't weighs a ton, however, it is an expression that gives meaning to the speakers that the suitcase is heavy. So instead of using the word heavy, is you use the word ton as a adjective that describes the way or the way of the suitcase itself. So let's proceed to the next literary technique, which is irony. So irony has used a word in literal sense that debunks what has been said. So this is similar to sarcasm. Yeah, sarcasm, because irony sorry, kahit tanong ko sir. Pagapos tayo may sa camera. Kaska kung po gamay sa da. Sige sir. So, sorry about that everyone. So, I have a hoarse throat right now guys. Yesterday is I've been raining outside in the rain. So, let's carry on with the discussion. So, where did we stop? Irony, sir. Okay, irony. So, let's proceed with irony. So, irony is a literary device in which contradictory statements or situations reveal a reality that is different from what appears to be true. So, it contradicts the statement, to be exact. So, the effectiveness of irony as a literary device depends on the reader's expectations and understanding of the disparity between what should happen and what actually happened. So, to illustrate further what irony is I have examples here. Telling a rude customer to have a nice day. So, with that phrase or sentence, which is, so, telling a rude customer. So, if there is an impudent customer or rude customer buying in your business, is you can never treat that person or that customer the same as treating them in a good way. So telling a rude customer to have a nice day, even though you are even though it is a rude customer, is you still telling a rude customer to have a nice day. So that that example is an irony wherein you contradict with the statements, because it contradict with the statement or situation, because what happened is that person is a rude customer, but you still say that you still greeted them to but you still treated them and say that they should have a nice day even though they are a rude customer. So next is I have also here stating during a thunderstorm, beautiful weather we're having. So in a thunderstorm, yes, it is there is a rain that is coming. So you can say that it is a beautiful weather because a stormy weather can produce devastating events like as you last year, the Typhoon Odette. So that is so it is in a thunderstorm. No, Odette is a typhoon, not a thunderstorm. Sorry. So stating during a thunderstorm. So that the beautiful weather we're having, because a beautiful weather should be a fine weather without any clouds or rain. Rain clouds, and also it should be sunny in order for that weather to be beautiful. So that the statement beautiful weather we're having contradicts the situation in thunderstorm. So next, so much for that. So let's proceed to metaphors. So what do you mean by metaphors? Metaphor is a direct comparison without using like or as. Not as. Are we? So metaphor, so also known as a direct comparison, are one of the most common literary devices that is used in most of the literary writers in their books or novels. So example of a metaphor is, I will give you an example. This tree is the god of the forest. So he compared the tree as the god of the forest. Obviously, the tree is not a god, okay? Excuse me. In fact, it is a tree. However, by stating that a tree is the god, the reader is given the image of something strong, large, and immovable. Because the word god resembles something being strong, something that has a great physique, something that is quite powerful. So that is how the tree, I think this tree is quite big. This tree is enormous for him to compare it as a god. So another example is no man is an island. So that is a great example of a metaphor. So let's proceed to the next literary technique, which is similes. So what do you mean by similes? So it is a manner also by comparison that uses like or as. Unlike metaphor, this literary device or figures of speech, which is simile, uses like or as to compare two objects. So it is also known as an indirect comparison, similar to construction of metaphors, but they imply a different meaning. Like metaphors, two unrelated objects are being compared to each other. Unlike metaphor, the comparisons relies on the words like or as. Yeah, as you can see, similes and metaphors, when it comes to the difference is the simile uses words like or as. So I have an example here, which is the tree is like the god of the forest, or the tree acts as the god of the forest. So as you can see, there is word like that is being used in the phrase to compare two objects. And also I have also next example is my love is like a red rose. So that is how you use simile in literary works. Next literary technique is metonymy. So what do you mean by metonymy? So metonymy is the one word that a very similar meaning can be used for another. So to illustrate further, it is a type of figures of speech in which one object or idea takes the place of another with which it has a close association. So for example, I have words that can be used, or words that can take place with another, that can be associated with another. So I have example words here that can be associated with another object or idea. So first is Broadway. When you encounter the word Broadway, so you can easily picture out that Broadway means it represents associations with New York drama productions and stage fame. So Broadway. And also ozone naman. Also, academics. When you encounter the word academics, you can easily figure it out that it represents it associates with the school. Yes, it associates with school, college, university classes to be exact, or studying. So that is metonymy is all about. It is how you associate words with another objects. So next, figures of speech. Literary technique is onomatopoeia, words that actually sounds what it means. So onomatopoeia pronounced as onomatopoeia. So it is defined as a word which imitates the natural sounds of a thing. So examples, I have example here. The buzzing bee flew away. So the buzzing, zzz, like the sound. So you imitate the natural sound. So when you encounter these examples in a book, like for example, there is buzzing, so it is onomatopoeia. So another example is the sack fell into the river. The sack fell into the river with a splash. So the splash is how the water, how the water reacts after the sack fell. So that is the sound that is being imitated. So next, literary technique is paradox. So what do you mean by paradox? It contradicts itself. Why? Because a paradox is a statement that appears at a first to be contradictory, but upon reflection that then makes sense. So this literary device is commonly used to engage a reader to discover an underlying logic in a seemingly self-contradictory statement or phrase. So as a result, paradox allows readers to understand concepts in a different and even non-traditional way. So I have examples here. The pen is mightier than the sword. So when you try to understand the logic behind this phrase, which sentence, which is comparison, that the pen is mightier than the sword. So this may be an example. On how Rizal uses his intelligence or pen in writing the two novels, which is El Filibusterismo and No Limit Tangere, to overthrow the Spanish colonization here in the Philippines. So yes, that is why that the pen is mightier than the sword. So next is the more you give, the more you get. So this phrase is an example of a logic that the more you give, the more blessings that you will get from the Creator or from God. So next, literary technique is personification. So personification, giving inanimate objects the qualities of living beings. So inanimate objects or non-living things, you give life to non-living things. So for example, the bus is driving too fast. So you are giving the object, which is the bus, the life that it is driving too fast. So as you can see in the example, that if you understand it literally, that the bus cannot drive too fast because there should be someone who should commandeer the bus. So that is a person, or the driver. So next example is my computer works very hard. So as you can see, the writer is giving the computer the ability or the life that the computer can work very hard. Why? Because I think it is because that is being used for hours. So this can be a great example towards people who are in call center agents, which uses computer equipment very often. Next literary works is synecdoche. So synecdoche is a part of a whole. So why? So it is a figures of speech in which part of something is used to signify the whole or vice versa. Examples. I have example here. The White House. So when you encounter the word White House, so it is used to signify the US President and the executive branch. Another example is wearing heels. So wearing heels, so this is used to signify the high-heeled shoes. So yeah. So let's proceed. We have antithesis. It is a contradiction of two ideas that achieve balance together. So antithesis is an effective literary and rhetorical device as it pairs exact opposite or contrasting ideas by utilizing parallel grammatical structure. This helps readers and audience members define concepts through contrast and develop understanding of something through defining its opposite. So I have examples here. So let me give you examples. So first, we have no pain, no gain. So as you can see, it pairs opposite or contrasting ideas that without pain, you cannot gain, or you cannot gain something if you will not use your if you won't use physical labor, or if you can't use your body to work. So if you don't, so to simplify, if you don't work hard, you cannot gain something from it. So what that is antithesis is all about. Next is we have euphemism. What do you mean by euphemism? Euphemism is a word or words used to soften the message. So it is used in order to make to replace a word or phrase that is related to a concept which might make others uncomfortable. So instead of making them uncomfortable, is you use this euphemism. It is a type of figures of speech in order for them to be in order for the words to be comfortable instead. So it refers to figurative language designed to replace phrasing that would otherwise be considered harsh, impolite, or unpleasant. So I have examples here. A euphemism for old. So because old might be quite too harsh or impolite, you can use the word senior. We have also poor. So instead of using the word poor to describe someone in lower class, you can use the word economically challenged instead. So also is unemployed. So between jobs. So that word between jobs. So words can be used to describe someone who is unemployed. And last but not least is oxymoron. So it is a figures of speech which puts two words together that seem to contradict each other. These are pairing two words together that are opposing and contradictory. This combination of contrary or antithetical words is also known in conversation as contradiction in terms. As a literary device, oxymoron has the effect of creating an impression, enhancing a concept, and even entertaining the reader. So I have an examples here of oxymoron. Close distance. So as you can see, the two words contradict with each other. Why? Because when you try to examine the word distance, it means it is far away. So yeah, distance yourself. So you make yourself away from each other. So distance. However, you pair the word close, meaning to be sitting beside you, or it is close beside you. So close distance. So that is a type of oxymoron. Also, black light. So as you can see, black light. Light produces white produces white effects. So as you can see, there's no black light. However, it is being paired that black light refers to a situation in which there is a brownout maybe, or there is a interruption in electricity, or there is no light. So and that would be all for my topic, which is literary techniques. And thank you so much, uh, everyone who are watching, and I hope you learned something. That would be all, and thank you.
Oshi!